Hello everybody, welcome into the Hobby Barr. This is Jason, and welcome. Today we'll be continuing on the Shroud Queen that we assembled last time. And first up, we'll dive right on in here. We're gonna be applying some Army Painter Brush On Primer. It's a gray paint on primer, or brush on primer, that I've been using a lot on these models since I'm gonna be honest, I'm kinda sick of using rattle cans. So I wanted to give it a shot because I've heard mixed things about brush on primer and figure it might be nice to give it a try. And I've been kind of pleasantly surprised. The only other brush on primer I've tried is Tamiya, and can't really use that indoors, and just because it's like solvent based. So you definitely need a well ventilated area or just be outdoors to use the stuff. But yeah, this stuff, it's water based and it goes on perfectly fine. Like I've had no issues of it clumping or brush strokes and stuff, but yeah. Anyway, do have quite a bit of footage since it's applying this primer and some base coats. So for today's episode, we'll be fast forwarding. I'm going to try it 4 times. It might be even faster than that for the most part. So again, a lot of footage to chug through. So hopefully y'all are okay with that, just to try to keep the time down. I think it's over 2 hours all cut together. So yeah. Anyway, this stuff's slightly lighter gray than the plastic, and the initial coat, it might be a bit hard to see, but that's alright. Just means going on, it's doing its job, just priming up getting the plastic ready for other paints, of varying consistencies. But, yeah, so we go on, and as you can tell by the thumbnail, that, I kind of have figured out what I wanted to do with these. But we'll get into that as we get to the other colors. And with that, I think we'll go ahead and fast forward through the rest of this priming process. This does take a good chunk of time, so yeah, we'll just fast forward through this. Again, I'm thinking 4 times might get us down in time enough, but we'll see. Anyway, catch up with you all in a little while when we move on to the next color. Righto. We've moved on to Citadel Catachan Flesh for this, to base coat the skin on the mini. When I initially started, I was out of frame for a good while, so that's why all of a sudden a lot of skin looks like it might be done. Yeah, sort of, my bad on that for drifting and staying out of frame for a while. But, yeah, coming on in here, and we're starting up with the, Catachan Flesh. I figured I'd leave them a darker skin tone like the rest of my Daughters of Cain army scheme. I don't know if I want to make it like purplish hue for like a shade, for a bit of a shade. We'll figure that out here when we come to shading and highlighting the skin and stuff. But for just the initial base coat, just wanted to go with good old Catachan Flesh. Get it in those, get it all over that skin and block it out, as it were. Clothing on this mini is a little weird, but we'll get to that when we actually hit the clothing and stuff. Yeah. Don't know how I'll do the mask yet. We'll figure that out when we get to that. But that won't be in this episode. So, anyway, wrap up. Finishing up the skin again. I'm thinking we'll be fast forwarding 4 times through the rest of this. So, just keep that in mind if you're slowing down the video to watch at a relatively normal speed. But yeah, we'll go ahead and chug through this, and I'll catch up with y'all on the next paint. Alright, here we are with some Citadel Wraithbone, and I'm applying this as a base coat for all of the clothing bits, basically, on the mini. Boots will be done in black for the boots, but the clothing for the mini will be done in white, basically a linen look. Usually I start with Corax white for the rest of them, but my Corax white is basically a ball at this point in the paint pot, so I figure I'd give Wraithbone a shot, and then hit it with some sepia color and see how it looks at that point. But yeah, the top and like skirt thing on the mini are kind of connected, and that's sort of the weird part about it. So towards the end of this, putting the Wraithbone on, you'll see me actually connect the two, and it looks a little weird. But that's how the mini's designed, so I don't know. Very interesting, but is what it is. Yeah, but we'll go ahead and chug through just base coating with the Wraithbone and catch up with y'all here in a bit for the next color when we get to this rather ridiculous magic cloak shadow stuff, whatever you want to call it. Alright, let's catch y'all in a little bit. Alrighty, here we are moving on to Citadel Naggaroth Night. I wasn't sure if I wanted to start on the cloak on the mini or not, so first bit I'm applying here is going to be on the actual part that connects the big old shadow magical cloak thing to the mini. The one part that's separated from it. Yeah, we'll just go ahead and purple it up. Because the idea is I want it to be sort of bluish purple. And then I want to take some Nuln Oil or some Strong Tone or just basically a black wash and throw it over it. This way the purple still kind of shows through. And the black just sort of settles in the recesses and darkens those down for me. This way it has a very deep, dark, shadowy look to it without just throwing, without just making it pure black cloak. Because I think that would look a little weird. What I could do alternatively is basically highlight with black. So invert the colors to make the what would be the recesses on it the purplish bluish color and leave it at that, and then basically highlight with black, but I'm not sure exactly which way I'll go. Talking about it kind of sounds fun to invert the colors since it's meant to be a magical cloak thing that connects it. But, not sure if I want to do that. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. Anyway, going to be building up the color on this for the rest of the video. This first bit is just applying the Naggaroth Night as a base coat for the these magical bits. And then we'll be adding in a couple other colors, sort of building it up a little better. We'll be using some inks for that though, instead of building it up using Citadel paints. Anyway, we'll continue chugging along with some Naggaroth Night, and I'll catch up with y'all here in a little while when we get to the next paint on our list. Alrighto, here we are adding in some Vallejo Game Ink Violet onto it. I decided to swap over to the Violet Game Ink just to see what difference it would make while coating it. And in the end, it's not really that different to my eyes than using the Naggaroth Night. So I decided to go ahead and just use this over the whole thing for the cloak. Because I was silly and chose the wrong brush for cloaking this bigger portion, the bigger, fatter portion of the cloak, shawl, magical stuff. What I should have used was either the large or the medium base brush instead of this number 2 that I've been using. But swapping over to an ink, it sort of helps make this go a little faster, because it's basically a really thin paint already. So it just sort of goes on nice and smooth and thin, and yeah, it looks good. But after using this, after doing this paint, this ink, I should say, we'll go over it with another one to sort of build the color depth. On camera, it really strongly changes the color, but in person, it's not really that strong. The purple still shows through massively, so we'll be adding a touch of blue to it, just to let you all know. And I noticed when I was reviewing the footage that it really tinted the purple, so you can basically not see much purple from the way I see it. But on the mini it looks perfectly fine. Again, not sure which way I want to take it, whether I want to just recess shade or throw a black wash over it, and that'll be the shawl and magical color, or if I want to invert it and highlight in black, just because that might be more whimsical and magical, but I'm not sure. We'll get to that when we actually do the highlights and stuff. For now, we'll continue building up the color by applying this ink. Again, sticking at 4 times speed like the rest of the video, and I'll catch you up with y'all here on the next color when we here in a bit. So see y'all in a bit. Alrighty, here we are moving on to Vallejo Game Ink Blue. Figured I'd add some blue ink to this because for sort of that shadowy color, usually it's a bluish purple. It's not really purple, it's not really blue, it's sort of in between there. And I'm thinking probably add some black to it. Probably best bet should have desaturated the blue a bit. Like, shouldn't have made it such a strong blue. Leave it more like a blue-gray purple, but oh well. We'll make it a really, really dark and saturated color for the magic on them. But yeah, I want to add some blue to it just to sort of change up the tone of the shadowy magic color. Instead of just making it purple, make it sort of a purple-bluish color in between there. Yeah. I want to apply it to this little portion that's going to attach to the front and connect everything together. First, just because it's a smaller piece, I figured it'd be easier to fix and go over and redo everything if I didn't like the way it looked, but I was pretty happy with how it looked on that little piece, so we're going to pick up the big piece, the actual bigger part of the mini and start applying it on there too. Gonna do the usual couple of thin passes over it. And you notice I'm adding some water and thinning it out a little bit. This way it's not super strong when I'm applying it, but it's sort of a bit more like a wash in a way, or contrast paint if you will. Because these inks are very strong. If you just take them straight out of the bottle and slap them on there, they are pretty darn strong. They will paint your mini for you, basically that color, or if you will, dye your mini that color, but regardless. we'll go ahead and finish applying this, and then we'll let it dry and do a spin here. Catch up with y'all here in a little bit then for that. Alrighty, last call everybody. Last call. So, for today's last call, hopefully 4 times speed wasn't too bad for y'all. Again, quite a bit of footage to chug through for this one. To get it down to less than half an hour. But this is the end result of just basically doing the base coats and applying the inks over it for the magical shawl and stuff. But kind of happy with how it's going so far, and hopefully we'll continue making it look better. Hopefully, still not sure which way I want to do the magic though. Hopefully I can figure that out by the time I need to work on this again. And then get the skin done, get armor done, glue her up, get her on the base, call her good. But with that, hope you all have a fantastic start to the year. And, yeah. Hopefully can continue to take it easy and get stuff done hobby-wise. But with that, see y'all next week for the next one, when we continue this mini up. So, take care everybody. Have a good one out there.